Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining from. I see people from all over the place today, which is always nice to see. So thank you all for being here. Here we go. That is right. We've got, I don't know what we've got in store today. We'll see what happens. I do have a new thing that I can show you, which is the little graphics I added to the beginning. So I can show you how that works. And I do have some new stuff I've been playing with in the studio as well, which is always fun. So I can always talk about that. And of course, we're going to announce the winners for the giveaway of the 4 ATEM Mini power switches that I talked about last week. So that, by the way, is still running on. Why are the messages still popping up? This is interesting. It's not supposed to happen. Okay, we'll see how that goes. I don't know why that's happening. The giveaway, which I'm going to drop the link again because I just realized I don't think it's in the description of this video. You still have about everyone's just saying hi again. Okay, these are like old messages that are popping up still, which is really funny. I'm just going to go ahead and restart the graphics on that. Okay, the giveaway. There's still like 40 minutes left on it, so you still have till later in this stream. We all know that this stream is not going to end in 40 minutes. I think we can just agree on that right now. So still time to enter the giveaway. There is the link, and we will draw that at when the counter runs down, which is at 45 minutes past the hour. So yeah, let me make sure that my chats are still working. They are. Okay. So I see some new faces in the chat, which is always nice. And Keith, nice to have you here as always. Coffee and Aaron Sunday morning. And I also have coffee, so because I have not had enough yet this morning. So, oh, Bart is here as well. Hello, Bart. It's been a while. Yeah, it has. Missed your streams too. It's been a while. So hopefully we get to see you back here at some point soon. So yeah, okay, so everyone's wondering about where the secret code is. I'm not going to tell you exactly where it is, but if you do want to scrub through last week's live stream to look for it really quick, then I will tell you that it is during the demo of the power switch. It's not elsewhere. So that is where you will find it. So yeah. The Bailey says, did the countdown go for longer than normal? I might normally come late, but it seems like it went for longer. Yes, I did. I did not start it to, I did not time it to end precisely at the top of the hour because I was scrambling, as I always do, to set things up in here. And then I ran out of time and I needed a few extra minutes. So I timed it to end like 2 minutes after the hour or whatever. Serious Film says YoloBox needs a shout out for the audio mixer. Absolutely. Okay, so speaking of the audio mixer, two things about that. The YoloBox just announced a firmware update. They just shipped a firmware update that adds an audio mixer to the software. So super, super cool. We are going to check that out in extreme detail later this week because later this week, we're going to find out if this is a bad idea later. But right now, my plan is to, oh, where is the screen? My plan is to, oh, my computer is on the wrong input. That explains it. Routing. ATEM 2 gets the first computer screen. Good thing I have all these buttons for this. Okay. There we go. My plan for the week is a live stream every day. We're going to find out if this is a bad idea or not. But currently I've got all of these posted and you can go and click the reminder button or subscribe to my calendar and you'll get them in your actual calendar, which is going to be more reliable. Also, my newsletter is the actual best way to get notifications because it sends out an email half hour before the time. These are not all at the same time. I did want to spread it out a little bit and give our friends in Australia a chance to join that's not in the middle of the night. And yeah, the plan for these streams is to try out a bunch of different streaming kits. So starting with actually something a little bit out of the ordinary, extremely out of the ordinary, actually. I'm going to have a guest in my studio in person for the first time ever. And Photo Joseph is coming to Portland. He's visiting, and he is going to come and join me on the stream tomorrow. And that is going to be the first stream of Stream Week. And yeah, don't know exactly what we're going to talk about, but we will have a good time, I'm sure. And we've got all of these devices to try out as well here. So we can try them out, chat about them, and yeah, it'll be fun. So definitely don't miss tomorrow. That is going to be 1 hour earlier than today's stream. So that's the time. It's again on YouTube. YouTube has the correct time. It should show it in your time zone. And the best way to get a notification is my email list, which is also linked down below. And then the rest of the week is going to be at different times because I wanted to spread it out again. And we're going to talk about the YoloBox on Tuesday. I'm going to do a complete full walkthrough of the YoloBox Pro. So it's going to be like starting from scratch. I'm going to assume that no one's touched it before. And we'll just go through the whole thing. We're going to go through all the different features of it, plug in some camera sources, actually do a stream from it. We're going to have to stream. I'm going to stream to like a secondary YouTube stream to be able to show the comments on the screen and stuff like that. And we will definitely check out the new audio mixer, which is going to be, I'm super excited about the audio mixer feature. That is just, yeah, really glad they added that. Oh, thank you, Steve, for the super chat, kicking things off this morning. Here's to coffee and your plant. Thank you, appreciate it. I will get Photo Joseph a coffee with that tomorrow. How about that? And then Wednesday, we've got the RGB Link Tau 1 Pro, which is very, very new, and I haven't actually found it for sale yet, but they said it's supposed to be available by the time I do that stream. And that is a really interesting one. I haven't played around with it too much yet, so it's going to be a lot of experimenting. We're going to try it out. And then the next day, Thursday, was that Thursday? 23rd. Yes, Thursday is the Mevo Start 3-pack, which is a super cool thing that is, it's not really like the other devices at all because it is just cameras and like an iOS device, but that should be fun to try out and see the differences in using that kind of kit compared to a more traditional device, hardware device. And then we're going to wrap things up with, of course, the ATEM Mini Pro, but again, what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to have a separate ATEM Mini Pro not tied into my normal like desk stuff here. And the ATEM Mini Pro is going to be, I want to do a show entirely on it, just like with only the ATEM Mini Pro, nothing else. We'll see what the capabilities are of loading graphics and see what the limits are for the graphics things as well. And it'll be again like a from scratch overview. So if you're new here, this is a great time to get like a deep dive of these things because I know a lot of my more recent live streams especially have been going into some of the more advanced and complicated stuff and as you know, if you've seen any of my recent walkthroughs of the studio here, this is a giant mess of wires and way more complicated than it really needs to be, but it's for me and I enjoy it. And that is just, we're going to keep things simple. We're going to go back to the basics for this week. So, okay, that's the rough plan for the week. And I do have a couple other devices. One of the things I did with the ones I've picked out for this is these are all devices that actually are complete kits. So I didn't want to focus on, I wanted to focus on only devices that are like complete solutions. So what I mean by that is you can plug in a camera, at least one camera, or in the Mevo case, it is a camera, and actually go live from the device. So it'll actually push to YouTube. There are a whole bunch of other devices that are really interesting that are just the switcher part. So the original ATEM Mini Pro, for example, falls into that category, as does the this AV Matrix one, which is quite different from the ATEM Mini. It has a lot of things that the ATEM Mini actually doesn't even have in this model, but there is no streaming encoder in it. So I wanted to focus for this week on the ones that are strictly streaming encoders. And I do have a couple other new switchers to test out as well later, but we're going to push those off maybe till next Sunday. We can do like a rundown of a bunch of them. Because there are a bunch of interesting ones, and they're definitely worth checking out. So, okay, let me see what we've got in in the chat. Keith says sneaky code spot again. Yep, good. Glad you found it. Hardy Meaty says hello from Carefree, Arizona. This is always a better Sunday than cable news shows. I'm glad you think so. I appreciate it. Power Jams says, I need Blackmagic to release a new ATEM with 20 inputs with scalers. I 100% agree. 100% agree. On-screen messages are cropping on the right. You are right, because I forgot that is... where is that? That is my... Okay, let me explain. Let me explain for the graphics. Yeah, sorry I didn't notice that. But the chat box looks like it's cropped too much on the, should say right at the end of that. So let me explain what's going on, because I did something new at the beginning of the show, and it is, kind of fun. So, okay, where do I go to show this? I'm going to go to my Television Studio HD. Where is that? Yeah, okay. So what I did was, I think I just don't need to mask that right now. That's what's going on. So here is my Television Studio HD control. And what I did was I wanted to have a banner on the side that was a little like series of rolling ads for my own stuff. Also now, why is the chat stuck on the screen? This is my little OBS webpage is having some issues today. That's what's happening. So we're just gonna go ahead and reload it. These messages are coming in through OBS. So if I click on one, it'll show up in OBS, right? Which is outputting a full 1920 1080 into the Television Studio HD. I should probably show you a little diagram of this because there's a lot of wires. So let me just go grab this diagram and walk through this very briefly. So most of the show is mixed in the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO that's on my desk. It's this one here. Most of the things are running through this. This multi-view is the ATEM Mini Extreme. So you're seeing my camera, my computer, table camera from over there. Hello. This camera that you're looking at now, another camera at the table. I'm not using that one right now. I have an overhead shot. And then this is the new one, which is graphics from an iPod. I've got a little iPod over here, which is playing a Keynote file. And the Keynote file is just this little looping series of images. So if the reason I use Keynote, I'll talk about that really quick. The reason I use Keynote was because I wanted to be able to very quickly create new slides, new images for this looping sequence. And I knew that if I was to do it in an actual video editor and have to export that in, ProRes format to load it into a Hyperdeck every time I wanted to change it, I would just never change it. And it's just too many steps to load the video editor and to load the video editor and export and load that into SD card and all that kind of stuff. So the Keynote is a great way to do simple animations, and it's then very easy to just add new things. So if I show you my Keynote file, this is what it looks like. I've got 6 slides right now. I've got a picture of the ATEM Mini stand. It has an animation on it. So if we go over to the Animate tab, there's the Move action, which it just sort of slides over slowly over 15 seconds. And then this file is set to, where is the, it's in the document. Yeah, document. So it's a self-playing presentation with interesting trick for this. 0 delay for transitions and builds, which is the important one. Otherwise, it'll pause on slides. So there is 0 delay between slides, which means every slide has to have some animation on it. So this is set to move 15 seconds. This one is set to pulse for 15 seconds. This one moves the opposite direction 15 seconds. This one has a series of animations where each of these goes in like pulses, or what's it called, pop. You can see it does the little like, where is it? There it goes. Yeah. So it does that for 2 seconds for each one. Once you add up all of those times, they are all on the screen for about 15 seconds. So, and then when it gets to the end, it just loops. So, then I'm not even using export to video. I could have done export to video, and it does, Keynote can actually produce a ProRes file, which is also a very cool trick for getting graphics with transparency into a Hyperdeck. It's a cool trick. However, I, again, just didn't want to go through that step. So instead, it's literally just opened. I saved it into my iCloud, and then it's opened on this iPad or iPod Touch. And it's like an old iPod Touch, and it works fine. So this is just running that file. And you can see that in the multi-view, it's the same thing that's in there. So, and it's just sitting on an infinite loop playing. So that's how I get it into the ATEM. And then I needed to get it into the stream. So for that, that's where I was trying a couple different options. So let me go back to this diagram. Again, most of my show is mixed into this ATEM Mini Extreme. And I've got like my cameras and the Mac and all that kind of stuff, right? And then I have this iPod Touch running into input 8. Now, what I wanted to do was add it downstream later. This is like the physical version of a downstream key, right? The ATEM Mini Extreme is not streaming to YouTube. The ATEM Mini Extreme is outputting to the Television Studio. Separate device on my desk. And that's really only one video input here for the main program. The Television Studio is where the graphics get mixed in, like the chat graphics and the countdown timer, as well as my my little whoosh transition. So that's running on Hyperdeck running into input 7 and 8. Ultrastudio for the chat graphics are running into input 5 and 6. And then this is outputting to the web presenter, which is doing the streaming. So this is sort of my like last thing down the chain, where most of the show I mix over here, cut cameras, show you my computer screen, super source and all that. I mix in the Hyperdeck for the little whoosh transition and the chat in the Television Studio. What I wanted to do was add the graphics down here as well, the little animation loop, because I didn't want to eat up an input on my ATEM, because I'm never going to show that full screen. So it was like, it's like a waste of one of the inputs here. I wanted to put it into here. I could not get that to work. All the Apple devices really want to output in 59.94. They don't want to output 29.97. And that meant that basically, so the Television Studio HD does not have scalers, which is a huge limit of it. And I want to replace it with whatever next rack mount thing they make that's going to have scalers, probably. So it can't output directly into the Television Studio HD because I'm running it at 29.97. I tried putting the decimator scaler before it, and I could not get the decimator scaler to output to the Television Studio HD for any video source I was connecting to it. It was really weird. I don't understand why. I've never had trouble with that decimator before. So I just couldn't get it to work. So I gave up on that. And my plan was to use like HDMI 4 and then use the upstream key on it to sort of insert it between the HDMI 1 layer and then my downstream keys on top. I was going to insert it in between to have it be visible like under the map. So I have to crop the map. Cropping the map is where we saw the glitch cutting off the chat messages. So my plan was to insert the keynote file as an upstream key. Again, think of it as layers. So you got your main video screen, your main, like any of your camera inputs that you're switching are the base layer. Your upstream keys go next. TV Studio only has one upstream key. And that's the one where you can tell it to remove blacks or remove greens or chroma key, any color, right? So you can do luma keying to remove any of the dark range. You can do chroma keying to remove any particular color, or you can use a DVE to scale it. So that's your like middle layer, and you only get one of those on the Television Studio. So my plan was a luma key, inserting in the middle, and then the downstream keys go on top, which I've got the chat messages from the Ultrastudio, which are so it's got the alpha channel because it's 2 channels coming into the Television Studio, right? So we've got 2 SDIs from the Ultrastudio into here. So I can do real transparency. Same with the Hyperdeck. I can do real transparency there. And I think that should be checked, actually. Yeah, okay. I don't know how that got unchecked. So those will be layered on top. Then, because the map is full screen, I needed to crop the map. So that's where this was. I had cropped it so that if I'm showing the map on the screen, it'll leave a little bit of room. And I guess I can, let me see if it, can I switch to that? I think I can. Show the map. Yeah. So this is what it was going to, this is what it was supposed to look like, was the map leaving a little bit of room for whatever is behind it, which would have been the upstream key. And then I had to roll all that back because I couldn't get the iPod to work in this, and I forgot to change the crop. So we'll get rid of that crop, and now the chats should show up right. So what I ended up doing for the to roll this back, the iPod is in fact going into the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO, and for the countdown time for the countdown, I had I just had the Extreme set to input 8 to output that onto the stream, and then the map would cover it up partially. So that is the story. Okay, hopefully that made some amount of sense. Like I said, this studio is getting very complicated. I've got a lot of things going on, but it's fun. Okay, now we see the whole messages, so we are back to normal. Okay. So okay, where was I in the chats? Chris says, yeah, it looks like something happened to the overlay. Yes, Photo Joseph is coming. Bailey says middle of the night doesn't matter. Bailey is from Australia. Thank you for joining. Hopefully some of them are not at a terrible time for you. Hardy Media says, can we please shame Bird Dog for the never shipping the play? I just got a notification that it is going to ship in, I think it was January, they said. So hopefully that pans out. You should have a big green screen and have his studio as the background while Photo Joseph is in the studio. We can hop back and forth between our two studios. I don't know if I can light us properly because I've never actually had two people sitting at that table. Also microphones. I don't know what I'm going to do about that yet. I guess probably lav mics. Andre says, what do you think about the MIDI video playback app? John Barker also mentioned it in his channel. I haven't actually used it. It seems like a totally solid solution, but I've never used it. It is very expensive. But seems good. Eric says, glad you're covering the audio mixer. Photo Joseph did a fantastic overview, detailed all the settings in his big look. Yeah, he did just publish a great video about that. Unfortunately, it was right before they shipped the audio mixer, so now the audio mixer is not in his video. Oh, okay, here's a question related to what I was just talking about. Actually, what's the best way to HDMI an iPad into the ATEM Mini Pro? Honestly, like just the regular converters are totally fine. So I have over on my iPod, which is Lightning, I have the little Apple Lightning to HDMI dongle. That's how this iPod is running into the ATEM for this, and it works just fine. It's the official Apple one. If you have the new iPads with USB-C, then any USB-C thingy will work. I actually have also here, which I was one of my scrimp. Oh, thank you, Keith. Ultrastudio 4K Mini. Very little about it on YouTube, and I don't remember you talking about it. I've talked about it a little bit, and I mentioned it in my studio tour, but I guess there's just not a lot to it. The way that it's set up here is it's Thunderbolt to my laptop, and that means that it shows up in OBS as a deck link. So if you go to deck link output, this is how I'm using it. So deck link output, then you get the Ultrastudio 4K Mini as an option and tell it you're doing an external keyer so that it outputs both key and fill. And I have it set to auto start on launch. And then whatever is in OBS is output into the Ultrastudio. Then I take two cables out of the Ultrastudio, SDI cables, because it has SDI outs, and I run two cables from that into the Television Studio HD SDI. And that's just super short little cables behind the desk here, and one is the main key, one is the fill. So if I where can I show you this? Let me switch my monitor to the TV studio so you can see it better. Left monitor is this one. Okay. So this is the multi-view for the television studio, not the ATEM anymore. And if I go and show a chat, if I go and show a chat message, look on my, so you see it on the screen, right? But look over here. You've got the actual message here, and then here is just like the outline. This is the second channel coming from the Ultrastudio. So that's the trick, is that I've got two of my 8 inputs are being used for the chat graphics, and same with the Hyperdeck. So if I run the, it's going to cover it up, of course. Here, I'll turn off the key. That one. So if I run the stinger, you'll see it over here, right? And when I turn it on, it'll actually cover up the screen. So the Ultrastudio is eating up 2 of the inputs there, and then that's it. Like, there's no like control of it. There's no buttons. I don't ever touch it. It just sits there and does that. It can do other things too. There's more inputs and outputs. It's got like an SD card reader. It's got a microphone input. It's got HDMI in. It can be a capture card as well. I don't use any of that. I just use it as an output device. So that is my story of the Ultrastudio. But okay, back to HDMI back to this question. HDMI into the ATEM Mini Pro. The problem I was having with HDMI into my television studio is that there are no scalers in the television studio. But there are scalers in the ATEM Mini Pro, and it will just work. There should be no problem. It'll output the 5994 signal. The ATEM will scale it down, and as long as you're using like a normal USB-C or Lightning to HDMI cable, it'll just work. But I saw you had some other comments in there. I'm trying to write on my iPad streaming through the ATEM, but the screen is flipped, so others on the call see the screen backwards. So I think what's happening is it's not the iPad flipping it. I think it's your video conferencing software flipping it. So for example, in Zoom, if I load up Zoom and then go to, yeah, so in Zoom, Zoom is being fed the Blackmagic, so you're getting the infinite tunnel effect in it because it's the actual program feed that I'm streaming. But there is an option in Zoom to mirror my video, and if you do that, then yes, everything is going to look backwards, including you. And I look very weird backwards to me because I always see myself in the mirror, not flipped. So that's probably what's happening, is my guess. But there's almost no way an HDMI dongle is going to be flipping the image. Okay, other questions. So you have a physical DeckLink card attached to your Mac? No, it is the Ultrastudio. It's OBS calls it DeckLink, but it's the same thing. So the DeckLink is the built-in card that you can put into like a real computer. The iMac you can't open up, so it's Thunderbolt out, but it sees it's called DeckLink in OBS, but it is an Ultrastudio device that is the external Thunderbolt device. Philip says 540 gibbers problem is the iPad screen slip going into the ATEM. I really don't think it is. I really, really don't think it is. I'm almost certain it's your video conferencing software doing it. The way to confirm that would be plug a monitor. If you tell me that you've plugged a monitor into your ATEM and you're seeing it backwards there, then I'm very curious what's going on, because that's almost impossible. It's a third-party dongle. I thought it was normal to be flipped. it's not normal to be flipped. It is. I would go get a regular dongle. Must be my dongle from China. That's actually like, if you have an HDMI dongle for your iPad that does flip it, that's like a feature. That is a feature that I would like, a lot of people would want. So for like teleprompters, actually you want it vertical in teleprompters, but that is very, very strange. And normally you have to buy very expensive scalers and stuff to flip the image. So that's really weird. Let me know what you bought though, because I'm curious if that is, curious to look it up. Okay, where else? Where were we? Oh, are you going to look at the Mevo multi-app or something like eCam and NDI mode? We'll look at both. We've got a whole hour, or probably realistically an hour and a half, to talk about the Mevo system. So let me know what your what questions you have about that, because I want to show as much as I can about all of these different switchers. Definitely going to look at the multi-cam app in Mevo, but we can also try out NDI stuff as well. Chris says, with the Decimator, did you use the app or the onboard menu? I've had the issue and had to use the app to set the settings. Oh, that's weird. I've never used the app on it ever, like at all. I've only ever done the on-screen menu, and I was trying out a bunch of the different options on it just to see what would happen, and I couldn't even get the audio to output, which was really annoying. But maybe I will try that with the app next time, which I've literally never had to use before. I don't even think I have it installed. What about software for using a teleprompter? I have a teleprompter, but a cheap monitor, and I can't flip the image on it. Yeah, so there are some, there are actually some good iPod or iPhone and iPad apps for teleprompters, and they will flip the image out of the HDMI. So if you're using a monitor that can't do the flip itself, then you're going to need to output it flipped from your source. And there are some teleprompters. I'm trying to find the one that I use. Oh yeah, it's very helpfully called Teleprompter, which means it's impossible to search for. Teleprompter, let me see if I can find it on the App Store. Yeah, it is this one. Okay, so this is the Teleprompter iOS app that I've been using. It is, it looks like this. It has this icon by Joe Allen Pro. There's a pro version of it that I think the free version, I don't remember the limits of it. It's limiting, so I bought it. But this one supports image flip. So let's see if he has any screenshots of it. Maybe not. It's like you can use it just on the iPhone if you want, but you can also output it over HDMI, and then there's options to flip the screen if you want. So let's see if I have, let's see if I can share my, oh, that is the wrong multi-view. I need that back. That one needs to switch back to left monitor, that one. There we go. Okay, now I can see what's going on. I want my Apple TV there. So give me a second to route that, because then I can share my, come on. Oh, I yanked it out. When I was busy messing with stuff. Physical rerouting in progress. Does that work? Aha, okay. So, you can see that it's showing me the actual text, and then I've got I have to switch it back to external display mode. Turn that off so that you can see it. No. Let's mirror the screen. I want to show you what the app looks like. There we go. Okay. So, that one, and I need a super source. I need a super source. Box 2 gets that one. Okay, that should work. Beautiful. And it's a little bit cropped. Crop left. 2, 2. Better. Okay, you get the idea. This is what the app looks like. So this was my script from the road video I did. And if you go into the settings here, you can choose mirroring options. So that's, it's not going to do it here because it's mirroring. It's only going to mirror on the external display. So if you turn on external display mode, then what happens is, this might be one of the pro features actually. So then what happens is when you are in a script, the only thing that shows up on the external display is the text. And now if I go back and change the image mirroring, the text mirroring, it'll, it should, I think I have to reload it. Nope. It should flip it. Why is it not doing it? External display. Oh, mirror text on connected displays. Mirror text on both. That's the wrong setting. That's why. It's right there. So I can flip it around depending on the monitor. So that's what you get with, so I'm just changing this little setting here and boom, 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 it's flipping the text around. So there, I will change that back. And hopefully then you can, yeah, you can see the app now, and here is the setting. So that's what I was tapping. That's a cool app. It works. It's what I've been using for most of my stuff, and I use it on an iPad, and then I share it out to my Apple TV in the studio so that I can put it on a screen in the actual teleprompter. And then one of the other free options is called Prompter.tv. And this is really cool because it's actually just a website. And oops. There I am. It's just a website, and it also has flip options. So you can, again, you can just load it up on an iPad if you want, or it actually has a remote mode too. So if you scan the code, if anybody wants to scan this right now, it will start controlling my screen. So you can scan that and then start controlling the remote screen of your teleprompter. So I've used this one as well. It's a little bit more fiddly to set up because you have to actually touch two devices. So you can put an iPad under the screen and load up your page and then control it from a different device, which is pretty cool. And then this one has the mirroring options here. So lots of good options for for teleprompters. This one, oh, there we go. Thanks for whoever's doing that. That was not me. Yeah, this remote feature was something I helped them add to this this website. So glad that is running. You run your teleprompter off an Apple TV. Have you done a video on this setup? Kind of. I talked about it in my really big, long studio tour video. And let me just drop that link. Where did it go? I talked about the whole setup in here in the studio tour video. And there's, wow, it's not even on the homepage anymore. Yeah, this one. So that has the complete walkthrough of everything, but the short version is oops, yeah, Studio Tour. The short version is the Apple TV is a can be an AirPlay target. So I can AirPlay from an iPad to an Apple TV, which means it's really useful to be able to it's useful to be able to just like throw stuff from any iOS devices. Oh, here goes the teleprompter again. Someone keeps scrolling it. I think you can actually change the text there too, which is pretty fun. Oh, it's Bailey doing it. Latency from starting the teleprompter to the text scrolling was minimal, probably about 2 seconds. Well, if you're seeing a 2-second delay, it's probably instant because there's a delay from what you're seeing on YouTube from YouTube streaming. So I would not expect it to be delayed at all because it's basically just a little like ping that sends over to my computer to tell it to scroll. It's not like it's sending video around the internet. Anyway. So the short version of the Apple TV setup is once your Apple TV is plugged into your ATEM, you can just do all sorts of fun stuff with it. So I have so you'll see it here. I should label it better. Actually, you know what I'm going to do is change the label of it right now because I just redid everything in here. Switch over to the ATEM ISO and change my labels. 5 is actually the table wide angle. Now this is the Apple TV. Okay. So now if I show you the multi-view, you'll see that it's just an Apple TV over there. So I've got you know, you can play videos off of whatever. You can play videos from Plex or YouTube, or you can load photos from your Photos app or whatever you want. And one of the things you can do is you can AirPlay. So that's the trick, is AirPlaying from any device, right? You've got like, I've got an iPad here. I can just AirPlay over to that, and now my iPad is mirrored here. So any app you have on here, of course, is showing up, right? Here's my iPad home screen, and then now here is the teleprompter. So the that is the cool thing about using an Apple TV, which is yeah, it's just super useful. And then I've also got like an NDI app on there, which is what I'm going to use for testing out the NDI stuff. And it's an NDI player. So it's an NDI player, and that means it'll just be able to play any NDI source on the network. So when I go and test out the Mevo cameras, for example, on Thursday, I don't remember what day anymore, one of the days, then yeah, we'll be able to view that NDI stream on the Apple TV. Okay. Oh, we are at the time of the end of the giveaway. So let me see if I can wrap up anything else about teleprompters before we move on to the giveaway. Oh yeah, a lot of people are using Parrot app for the teleprompter. I think that one, I don't remember why I don't use that now. Teleprompter app also supports multiple monitors. Interesting. That is cool. I've never tried that. Would you use the teleprompter app to put a Skype guest up in your teleprompter? That way you could see them and look them in the eye. No, so you don't need a teleprompter app for that. What you need is a monitor in your teleprompter that you can send a video signal to. So that's, again, go look at my studio tour video because I walked through the whole thing there. But the do I have a shot? I do have a shot of that. So in this set, you can see that I've got the teleprompter. I'm not sitting there right now, but when I am sitting there, I've got the teleprompter there, and right now it's showing my computer screen. See how it's the same thing that's on that 4K screen in front of me, and the same thing that's in the ATEM input too. But again, because of the router here, I can go and change what's in there, and I can say, actually, I don't want it to be my computer screen. I want it to be like my camera. And now it's my camera in the teleprompter. Or I could say, actually, I want it to be the Apple TV because I'm going to AirPlay my Apple TV. I'm going to AirPlay my Apple TV over to the teleprompter so that I can load up a Zoom call on the iPad, and then then I can see my guests that I'm talking to. So that monitor is the Lilliput 10-inch, and it does have the image flip option, which is super convenient because then all of my stuff is automatically, no matter what I send there from any source, if the source doesn't support flipping, that monitor flips it. So that's how I end up using that teleprompter. But yeah, it doesn't need to be an iPad. I could show my computer screen on there. I could show a camera or anything else. Oh, there's a few third-party TVs that can AirPlay as well. That's a good point. So this is related to this question, which is, what about the security of the systems in the studio? Any thoughts? I disagree fundamentally with smart TVs. I do not think TVs should be smart. And I think they should be monitors. And then you add an external thing to make it smart. Ironically, all a smart TV is a giant monitor with the little controller board built into it, which is silly because then if you want to replace that, you can't, and you're stuck with a 10-year-old Android device later. So I do not believe in smart TVs, and I refuse to buy one. I am currently using a TV I bought about 8 years ago, I think. And the only way I could buy one that was not smart was by finding what is called a commercial display, because that is made for like installations in airports and stuff. And you don't need a smart TV for that. You want to be able to just show stuff from a video signal. So that's how I bought that. Interestingly, I've been noticing that more and more of the commercial display type devices are now also adding smarts, which I'm really sad about. And I think there's going to be no way to get out of owning a smart TV in the future. So I'm going to hold out as long as I can because I do not want a smart TV. I would rather take a not smart TV and add a Apple TV or a Chromecast or something else. Andre says, even worse now there are smart monitors. Yeah, no, I'm never buying a smart monitor. Nope. Yeah, 10-year-old Android device that's what it's going to turn into. Like, the TV is fine. The display that I have is still perfectly functional. I think it's 8 years old. I think I bought it in 2013. And an 8-year-old Android device is a terrible idea to run. And at some point they're going to stop updating it, and then it's going to be full of security holes. So, yeah. So yeah, that's my little rant about smart TVs. Not worth it. Okay, what else about teleprompters? And then we're gonna move on. We are gonna move on. Okay, yeah, that's about it for teleprompters. Great. The desk looks like a space control center. Yes, it does. It is going to change up pretty soon because I have a rack coming finally to get some of the stuff off of my floor. Okay, so Eric says, yeah, who's gonna patch log4j on your smart TV? Nope. Oh, one more thing here. Clifford says, does the matrix allow you to flip or rotate outputs? It does not. It is just a matrix for reassigning inputs. I don't know if I've seen matrices that do support flipping actually. But the way I handle it is I'm usually using a monitor that can flip it, or if I really need to, for some reason, you can get the external scaler, the decimator scaler, which does do horizontal and vertical flip. You can make the smart TV dumb by not putting it on the network. Only sort of. You can make it not dial home or whatever, but it still is a OS that is running stuff that is more than I want on a monitor. So yeah. I work for a company that just pulled all the Wi-Fi cards from our smart TVs to avoid security issues. Yep. Okay. A new rack to hold your new ATEM constellation and a new 12G 4040 video hub. Not yet, but maybe. No, honestly, whatever is the new rack switcher that Blackmagic is going to make, which they're long overdue for, I'm probably going to buy it. We'll find out. Okay, so anyway, let's move on to the giveaway. The giveaway is for this ATEM Mini power switch I talked about last week. I don't know where it went. I don't have it here to show you, but let me go and pull up the link to it at the very least. The power switch was created by someone who is, I didn't link to it in the giveaway. Someone who watches the channel and was noticing that a lot of people are asking for power switches for the ATEM Mini, which fair enough. I think Blackmagic does not expect, most of their stuff is all from like, TV studio installations where it's just going to be on 24/7 or it's in racks where the whole thing turns off. So they didn't put a power switch into it, but that was probably a mistake for the home and small business users. So this is the power switch. It is a little inline switch. It screws on both ends. So you can screw the ATEM Mini power supply into this little cable, and it's got the switch, and then it has the same end that the real power supply from the ATEM Mini has, and that goes into the ATEM Mini. So, I mean, you can use it with anything. It doesn't have to be the ATEM Mini, but it is made for it and it's got the right size for that. So, yeah, it just attaches in line, and then you get a nice little on-off switch. And it's a little bit easier than trying to like fiddle and reach around the back too. So the giveaway is for 4 of these. He was very nice and offered to send 4 to viewers here. So we are going to go ahead and we are going to go ahead and do that drawing right now. And to do this, the way that you had to enter was, where is it? The way to enter this giveaway, which is done now, but it was just doing a couple of things like put in your email, go subscribe to me on YouTube, check out my little question search, which, by the way, if you are new here, this is a very, very good resource. If you are curious about other things we've talked about on these streams, which I know are very long, and I realize that people are not going to be reviewing or watching through all of them all the time. But what I wanted to do was make a way to search through the questions that I've answered in the chats before. So if you go and type in, like, we can just type in like YoloBox, click search, then you'll find all of the times people in the chat have asked questions about the YoloBox, including from right now, which is kind of meta. This is from today's stream. The date's wrong until the stream is done, then it'll get updated. This is the date I posted the stream until it's finished. So yeah, this was the last week's. And then you can jump right to the timestamp of like in a video. There's the question. So I'm trying to make my content here more useful to people. So that is the something I wanted to point out. And then, of course, the secret code, which was hidden somewhere in the stream, which I'm not going to reveal still, because I want to reuse that trick later. And there was a secret code that gave you bonus entries. So basically, it's a random drawing, and the more things you did, the more chances you have to win. So I'm going to go ahead and draw the winners right now. And I have to do this without sharing the screen because it's going to have email addresses and stuff. And as long as the winner doesn't look like they cheated, which there's almost no way to cheat in this one since I didn't do too much special stuff. As long as the winners that are drawn, I'm going to review them really quick. As long as they don't look like they've cheated, then I will announce them. And you can email me and we'll get shipping info and send them out. Okay, here we go. 4 winners for the 4 switches. 4 winners. Okay, draw. And where is my drum roll? Okay, I see some names I recognize in here, so this is great. These all look like actual people. Wonderful. Okay, we didn't get any bots spamming this one this time. Perfect. So the winners are, can I? Aha, yes, perfect. I can push them to the giveaway page. And the winners are, oh, I need the drum roll again. Here we go. Rick, Christian, Blake, and Malin. So if you are one of those people, which hopefully you recognize your names, actually what I will do is I will just email you from my email, since I have your emails here, and then you can reply back with your shipping info and we'll get those sent out. Cool. Thank you everybody for playing. That was fun. And congrats to all the winners. Okay, cool. What else? Yes, congrats. Oh, and Chris is here. Wonderful. So yeah, I'm gonna send the winners an email. You can reply back to me with shipping address, and I will send the shipping info to Chris S, who is the one that made the switches. And yep, cool. Congratulations. Oh, and can you post where the rest of us can buy it? Absolutely. I had that link up a second ago. Here it is. The rest, if you were not one of the winners and you would like to buy one, then this is the ATEM Mini Power Switch, available on eBay. It looks like that. Wonderful. Okay, other questions about this, and then we're gonna go dig through the rest of the questions. Oh, so this is an interesting point. So I don't know what Shelly is. So yeah, this switch stops the power before it goes into the ATEM, but the transformer is still plugged in. And it's a little bit misleading because like the power supplies with the big transformers, they don't draw power unless they're being used at the other end, but there is a little bit of power loss in them built in. But it's nowhere near the same as if the device was actually on. So if you have a switch like on the AC side of the power supply and you cut that off, then yeah, the power supply, the transformer is not doing anything and you're saving the most power. If you cut it off on the DC side after the conversion like these switches do, then the transformer is still plugged into the wall active, but it's not drawing power into the ATEM, so it's not using 18 watts or whatever. You might have like the teeniest little bit of power loss there, but it's like, in my opinion, not that much of a worry. If you do care about that, then yeah, you want to get a AC switch side to turn it off at the AC end. Hardy Media says that they use the Casa Smart Plug Power Strip HS300. Funny you should say that, because I literally ordered that Friday, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. This is going to be super cool, because I actually need a way to reboot my web presenter and the Hyperdeck, because they keep locking up when they've been on for days and days at a time. And I had my audio mixer lock up on me last week too. So those also don't have power switches, which is good in my opinion. They shouldn't have power switches, but I need a way to yank the AC out. So I was like, oh, this is cool. It's a 6 outlet individually controllable power strip. And then I was like, oh, perfect. I'm going to go buy it. It looks like it, works with all sorts of stuff. It's Wi-Fi direct. And then after I ordered it, I started looking up the documentation about it. And I don't want to use their app for it because I want it integrated into the rest of my stuff. I want it controllable either via Home Assistant, like the rest of my smart home stuff, or at the very least Companion, so I can make buttons on my thing here to turn on and off the devices. And I started looking into it, and it's not an open protocol device at all. It's like super locked down. They did some sort of like half-assed version of encryption on it that was able to be reverse engineered, so there is a companion module, but then they did a firmware update that broke it. So I was like, nope, backing out of that and canceled the order, thankfully, before it arrived. So, yeah. That's my story. But if it's working for you, that's cool. Just not for me. Okay. Oh, it's more of a fire avoiding thing, not power consumption. I've seen a lot of power supplies getting hot. They should not be getting hot if they are not being used. So if there's nothing plugged in at the other end and it's getting hot, then that's really concerning, and I would just get a different power supply. But yeah, turning it off at the AC end is obviously the safest. Okay. Oh, here's a question. Has YoloBox fixed the chat staying on screen? They did. It was, I think, 2 or 3 firmware updates ago. They finally figured it out, which it was a super weird one. It only happens when there are more than 100 messages in the chat, and one of the older ones is on screen. So basically, this is why it happened to me, was because I go through the chats in order most of the time. I'm doing a bad job of that right now. Most of the time, I go through the chats in order, and I click on one, show it on the screen, talk about it for a little while, and we move on. And what happened on the streams that I did that on was there was a lot of chat happening, and all the new messages were getting added down below, and I was still way up here. So I was showing a message that was over 100 ago, and then when I showed a different one, because it wasn't in that list, it wasn't getting removed. So they fixed it, and yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll try that out again on the day of the YoloBox stream. What is that? Oh, Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. So we'll try that out on Tuesday, and I'll need some help getting 100 chat messages in my test stream. So gonna need you all to post a lot of stuff there. Okay, that was fun. Moving on. What are we going to talk about now? There were more things on my list. Let's see the questions that I've sadly skipped over. Jog my memory. Okay, yeah, we got a bunch of questions in here that I was skipping over because we were talking about the giveaway. Raul says, how can I avoid using 2 inputs for the Hyperdeck? Can I use an extra ATEM Mini? I don't understand the alpha transparency thing. Okay, yeah. So this is a good question. Let me see if I have a way to explain this. Yeah, I can route my Hyperdeck into the ATEM. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to reassign those two because I don't need to show you that table anymore. We're going to turn that into Hyperdeck, that Hyperdeck, and 6 is going to be the key. Okay, so I've got a Hyperdeck here. It's this one. It's got a little video clip loaded into it, and that one doesn't have any alpha. Do I have anything with alpha in this one? No. Nope. Does that one have alpha? No, it doesn't. Darn. Okay, let's see if I have another. I might have another card with something on it. I just need something that has an alpha channel in it. What if I pull... I know I have a countdown timer somewhere. Is it on that one? Nope, nothing on that one. Maybe in a different resolution. Okay, what I need to do is load a countdown timer onto here, because then I can show you what the alpha channel does. So we're doing a live demo. That's what's happening. Where is my card? Okay, there was a recording on there at some... Oh, it was one of my workshops. I need a blank card. Okay. What I want to do is I have this countdown timer clip that has an alpha channel in it. That way I can actually properly show you what it looks like. And hopefully it's... Yeah, here it is, countdown.mov. It is 2.8 gigabytes because these files are huge. And yeah, I don't need that. I'll copy that onto it and see how long that takes. This is what I used to use for the show, actually, was this, this countdown timer playing out of a Hyperdeck. And then I switched my countdown timer to be a web page instead, which gives me a little bit more flexibility, but this should work. Okay, so that hopefully into the Hyperdeck. Let's see if it works. Yeah, okay, great. So what I can do now is show you the multi-view, so you can see what's going on here. Okay, I have a video clip. Actually, I should show you the video clip by itself. So the video clip is, I keep pushing the wrong button. Looks like this. It is a countdown timer, 1920 by 1080, and the background is not black, the background is transparent. And it just counts down, and there's music on it also. I think if I open it in quick look, yeah. So you can see that it's transparent. That is loaded into the Hyperdeck now. So there's two ways to get graphics from the Hyperdeck into an ATEM. If you look at my multi-view, I've got, let's actually relabel these so that they make sense. This is Hyperdeck fill, and this is Hyperdeck key. So now those are labeled properly. Ignore 6 for now. Only look at 5. We only care about 5. If you plug in an HDMI cable from your Hyperdeck into your ATEM, that's what you're going to see, is just the image, and it will have a black background for, that is your, like if the video had transparency, it would just show up as black there. So if I wanted to get that onto the screen, again, you're looking at my multi-view, so it's going to show up in only the program corner. So let me, no, I do want the super source layout, so you can see my screen a little bit better. What I can do is use one of my, for example, my downstream key. So let me go do this full screen for a minute to walk through this. I can take my Hyperdeck fill as the fill source and as the key source. If you have, again, if you have only an HDMI cable, that's what you're going to end up with. We're not going to use pre-multiplied, and we're going to turn this on and see what happens. It might look something like this until you adjust it right. So what you have to do is find out where is the black and then go just above that. And then you can do the same on this end to make sure it looks right. And then if I were to invert it, you would see the opposite, right? So I'm taking the black background and removing it with that. If your video was not transparent, then you might want to also crop it, for example. So I can add a crop onto here, depending on, again, what your video is. This is what you do if you only have an HDMI cable from the Hyperdeck to one input on the ATEM. That's what you would do. The limit here is that you are limited to removing just the blacks with the downstream key, or if you're using an upstream key, just a color. And where that becomes a problem is, for example, if I adjust this clip wrong, see how it's too high? It's a little bit hard to see in that. Let me switch over to this. See how the numbers are see-through? So you can see through the numbers. You can actually see through some of the white too, which is not great. So if I adjust that down, eventually you'll see it pops because those numbers are not actually black. And I had to do that very carefully when I made this clip to make it not the same color as the background. So they're just above black so that I can key it out this way. And then, yeah, okay. So now that's looking more or less fine. However, if you zoom in, you will actually see that the edges around around it are a little bit jagged. And there's a little bit of extra black around the edges probably. I can't really tell, it's very small. Actually, this is looking very good. I'm looking at the bigger version now. I should have been looking at my screen here. Let me see if I can make it mess up. No, it's doing a very good job. But depending on your graphic, it can have that problem. And more likely you're going to end up with the see-through numbers than, oh yeah, okay. Here you can see that around the inside of the O, there's a little bit of jaggies right there. So that's the kind of stuff that can totally depending on your graphics and what's in them can be either like really bad or not visible. So this is what you can do with one input. Now let's talk about what you can do with two inputs into the ATEM. So again, back to the multi-view. The way that if you have an actual graphic that you've created, a video you've created with a real alpha channel, which there's multiple ways to do that. You can export it from any video editing software, or from Keynote. In fact, if you have your graphics created in Keynote, Keynote can output the alpha channel. Then if you look at it in your computer and you see that there is, in fact, transparency in the background, see how it's like showing through. Then what happens is in the Hyperdeck, it is able to take that alpha channel and output that as a separate video source. So if you look at the Hyperdeck key, you can see how it's just the little white outline of the circles. And turn off the downstream key. So the program output is showing you just the Hyperdeck key, which is just the white outlines around the circles. And then here is the fill. So basically what this does is this is what's called the alpha channel. And this is, the ATEM can use this as to make the black parts of this transparent and the white parts not transparent. And what this fixes is it means that you can see that because the circles are entirely white, even if there's some black text inside of them, that's not going to be transparent because the white part is white there. So if I switch my, let's go back to this. And if I go back to my downstream key, I'm going to run two cables now into the ATEM, right? I've got the fill in input 5, and I've got the key in input 6. And if I tell it that my key source is input 6, now I can get a much better key. So let's turn this on and start messing with this again. First of all, I'm just going to check pre-multiplied key, and my key was apparently not pre-multiplied properly, but this is, yeah, okay, my graphic is not set up right for that. So we're going to do just not pre-multiplied. What I can show you is no matter what I set this to, I can't get the inside zeros to become transparent, right? It's either all transparent or not. So now it's actually using that alpha channel to set that transparency over the whole image. So this gives you a much better key. And it at the expense of course, using up two inputs on the ATEM. So that is why I do this. I don't want to eat up two inputs on my ATEM Mini Extreme. So I run the output of this into a separate ATEM where I don't mind using up two inputs for doing that. And then I have two different sets of graphics. I have the Hyperdeck as well as the Ultrastudio. But that's how that's all connected. Hopefully that made sense. Let me know if you have any questions about that. That was a long explanation. Oh yeah, if you have shadows, this is a good point. Where's that message? Not showing up on the screen yet. Yeah, if you have shadows, if you have like if you have something with like gradients that go and become partially transparent, then yeah, you can get much better effects with it with the real alpha channel. The same thing applies with graphics from Photoshop, for example, of like if you want still graphics with better transparency, you need that actual alpha channel. Yes, the numbers don't get punched out and don't become transparent. Yeah. Oh yeah, and Andrea makes a good point. The Hyperdeck and the Ultrastudio, they are only going to output that alpha channel over SDI. So if you are going into an ATEM Mini Extreme, you have to have a converter also, and you have to convert SDI to HDMI to get it into the Extreme. So again, that's the other reason I use a television studio for that, because the devices that I am outputting, the key and fill, are going out over SDI, and I can run them straight into the SDI inputs on the television studio. Okay. Moving on. Good question from Sven. What about a stream about different setups for different use cases? That's actually kind of what this whole week is going to be, because all these different kits I'm trying out this week are very, very different from each other. So we'll talk a lot about who I think and what scenario I think is the right use of each of these different kits. Oh, I think this was an older question, which I think I think I just answered this one. That is essentially how I use an extra ATEM Mini for the key and fill, but it is other way around. The overlays have to come downstream, which is like the literal downstream, not the in ATEM downstream. With the ATEM Mini Pro, is there a chance to display in and input a multi-view? If you mean, can you show the multi-view on the screen like this with an ATEM Mini Pro? No. The way that I'm doing this is because, again, I'm not streaming from my ATEM Mini Extreme. My ATEM Mini Extreme is outputting HDMI into the streaming device. So what I'm doing here is just switching back and forth between what's going out of that HDMI 1. If you look at my computer screen, it is output 1 is multi-view, and if I switch, or output 2, sorry, is the program, and if I switch this to multi-view, it'll change to that. So, and that's because this ATEM is not the one that's streaming. So that I can show you these things. Is that a challenge for us to post messages you won't get out of the map screen for that to happen? No, okay, no. It's not going to be the actual Tuesday live stream. In the Tuesday live stream, during that stream, I'm going to start a second stream from the YoloBox. And I don't have the link yet for it, but I'm going to create it during that stream. That will be the test stream to spam with chat. And I'll drop the link to that, of course, when I create it, but it doesn't exist yet. I'm going to be streaming from the YoloBox to a totally separate stream so that we can test out the chat. Okay. Oh my gosh. So many chats. I don't know if I have an answer for this one. I'm using two Blackmagic Pocket 4Ks and the ATEM Mini Extreme. Camera controls work with the ATEM, but the settings are not linked. White balance and ISO. Why would that be? I don't know if I have an answer for that one. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So can I connect an ATEM Mini Pro output multiview as a source to HDMI in the same ATEM Mini? You definitely can. I do not recommend it because, as Graham is saying, then you get the tunnel vision. So again, that's why I have mine set up this way, which is like, yeah, you can take your HDMI out of the ATEM back into itself. And then you, of course, only have 3 other inputs. Incidentally, that is the exact trick I use in the video I talked about recording your Zoom meetings. Because if you want to record the super source, if you want the super source layout recorded as a video that you can just export later, if you feed one of the extreme HDMIs back into itself and then use the ISO recording, it'll record everything, and Zoom can have it just like your regular camera. And but if you're trying to do that for the multi-view, the problem is that as soon as you, well, here I can just show you because I can send my multi-view back into itself. We'll show you what happens. I'm going to take input 6 and reassign that to my ATEM Extreme. Make sure the audio is not on. Extreme 2, which is the one I'm going to set it to 1, which is the multi-view. So this that I'm seeing on my screen here, this is HDMI 1 out of the ATEM. HDMI 1 out of the ATEM is also now going back into input 6. So if I show you this camera, and then if I switch to input 6, you're going to see what happens. You get the infinite tunnel effect because input 6 is the multi-view, which is then shown on the stream, which then is the multi-view, which is shown on the stream, and et cetera, et cetera. So here we can do that again. It's kind of fun. So this is kind of a disaster. I don't think this is a helpful view, and I think it's more confusing than anything. So I don't show this one on the stream because I don't think it's a good way to illustrate things to you. Like if I want you to see all the inputs on my screen, I want the program to be a clean feed. So I will do this, and then I will do it the other way, which means that top right corner is not the tunnel effect. It's one of my inputs, either my camera or my computer or whatever it is. So that's why I do it that way. And we'll get rid of that. Go back to the Apple TV. Yeah. But yeah, you definitely can. It's just you get the tunnel vision effect. It's multi-views all the way down. Yeah. You can take away the input in the settings in the ATEM control panel for the multi-view so you don't get the loop. Yes, you can do that. You can do, but you can't show it on the stream. So you'll still get the loop. So here, let me go back and do that. Back to, so if you look at my input 6 is the multi-view. What that suggestion was to take it out of the multi-viewer. So if I go into my multi-view settings and take it out of here, so I can just set it to, we'll just set it to black for now. Now, if you look at my screen, I don't see the multi-view in here because that's not showing me input 6. But input 6 is still routed into the ATEM, so I can still cut to input 6, and it still has the multi-view effect, the tunnel vision effect, of course, because it's on the program. So I could remove it. I could remove program from the multi-view and turn that black and then put it back into number 6. But I don't think that's super useful either. It's better than the tunnel vision, I guess, but I don't think it's great. So instead I leave it. Oops. Forgot that you were seeing that input 6 I reassigned. Instead I leave it set to, now I have to restore my multi-view. Oh my gosh, everything is a mess. Program, Hyperdeck is not Hyperdeck. It's Apple TV now. Whatever, good enough. And then I will show it to you this way, which is a much, much cleaner picture, in my opinion. Okay. Oh, here's another question about multiview. Can you output multiview to an iPad? Sort of. So it takes a bit of work to get that to work. You need another encoder, basically. So you have an HDMI out for your multiview, and if you run that into some other streaming encoder that you can view from your iPad, then yeah, you can get it into your iPad. There's not like a super easy way to do it, but there are plenty of devices that you can use. I do have one of those that I use for stuff like this. I don't know if I have an app on my iPad that can actually view it though. I was just testing something earlier. What was that? It was it was a Mac app for showing RTSP cameras. Any of the cameras that support, or any of the apps that are just like RTSP camera viewers would be able to do it. So, okay, I'm blabbering on. What am I talking about? What I'm talking about is here is a device that I have plugged into my rack. It is a DD Mall encoder. So I forgot to make an affiliate link. Oh well. This is a DD Mall encoder. I bought this a while ago, right before the pandemic. It plugs into HDMI and it has Ethernet. So you can plug this into your ATEM output, for example, and then whatever is on the HDMI out will be output over this device. So the way this looks, let's see if I can find its IP address. It's this one. So it's a very simple web interface, and it says things like it'll tell you the source signal it's getting, and then you can give it you can go here and you can find its address for the RTSP feed. So when I'm on this network, I can pull up this address in, for example, VLC, and what is going into that encoder right now? That is this one. Okay, it is my multi-view. So if I go and open up that address in VLC, VLC will start showing you the multi-view. And I need to mute that. And now we're getting the tunnel vision effect because it's not, because the computer screen's on the screen. So what this is this little encoder takes HDMI and outputs it over RTSP, which is a streaming protocol that is usually used by like security cameras. So if you find a app for your iPad that can view security cameras, you can pull it up there. I don't think I have one quickly at hand to try this with. And a lot of those apps tend to be like free, but then limited to like one camera or something. So I don't know if I have a good one I can recommend. Here's one I've downloaded before. Let me go and share my screen back into the Apple TV, and then that worked. So here is the app I just downloaded. Add the camera, add camera manually, RTSP, and I have to type this in manually apparently. So this is what 10.11.70.71, port 8554, and path is live 0, and then we'll save that. Oh, apparently I had some in here before. That's interesting. Find devices on your network, and loading. Is this going to work? Yes, possibly. There it is. Okay. Ooh, yeah. Okay. Oops, that was not the button. Full screen. This is the multi-view of my ATEM on my iPad, which this might look a little bit better if I just show it to you literally on the iPad. That is using an RTSP camera viewer. And yeah, it works. It is definitely delayed. So keep that in mind. And depending on your bandwidth, of course, the picture is going to look better or worse. I'm seeing some pretty bad compression on this right now. I don't know if that's the fault of the iPad or the encoder or my Wi-Fi or whatever. Let me see if I can find the link to this app so that you can so I can share it in the chat. And looks like it's this one. So IP cams. That looks like the app I was using. Yep. But yeah, you can just point that at one of those little RTSP encoders. How about VLC on the iPad? I have never even looked for the VLC app on the iPad. That would work too. Yeah, cool. But yeah, if you are, yeah, just do keep in mind the latency for that. It's not going to be real time. But I do use that for like essentially controlling a remote studio. So I can control this studio from home, and I do pull up the multi-view in usually VLC on my computer, and it's delayed, so it's a little bit awkward of like I push a button in the software control and it takes like a half a second to show up, but it works. Jules says, I dropped my ATEM Mini Pro and now the fan makes a noise. Any suggestions? Oh, yikes. That's bad. I would probably just talk to Blackmagic about it, honestly. I don't think opening it up is necessarily a good idea. It probably voids your warranty too. That's no good though. Mix Effect allows you to show multi-view on the iPad. It doesn't have anything built in, like it doesn't have any way to do that. Like you still need an external encoder. If I remember correctly, there is a feature in Mix Effect that essentially lets you pull up a web page like over the app. Is that something that was a beta or did that ship? No, I don't remember. But basically what it did is you could run the ATEM multi-view out into a capture card on your computer, for example, which is the other way to do it. And then run that into like video.ninja. So that's another way to do it. I don't think I have a capture card. Do I have an extra capture card plugged into my computer right now? No, I don't. But video.ninja, cool website for remote callers and stuff. But one of the other things you can do with it is you can add your own oh my gosh, where is it? Add your own camera feed to from your computer. Now I'm trying to remember. Oh, right, I'm in the director view. Okay. So if you have a capture card that is running your ATEM, then you can. Okay, what do I have here? I have ATEM, I have the web presenter, and the Ultrastudio, which is not going to work. None of these are the multi-view. But for example, if I take the web presenter, this is at least the program feed from the ATEM, right? So I can do that, and we get the tunnel vision effect with the color shift that you get because of the ATEM. But it shows up here now, which means if you copy this link and load it on the iPad, then you will see the program output on the iPad. So if I load that on my iPad, then sure enough, whatever is in, hello, hello, hello. It was working a second ago. I saw it. So yeah, take any capture card, capture the multi-view into your computer, share that into video.ninja, and then on your iPad, load up that solo link. Come on, this was working. I don't know why it's crashing. Maybe I should try it in Safari instead of Chrome. That might have something to do with it. Paste and go. Video Ninja. Go. Okay, this demo is failing. Maybe this is not the best option. I have done it before, I swear. So, anyway, the whole theme of this is that HDMI out is the only way to get the multi-view out of your ATEM. That you can run into whatever you want. You can run into a capture card, a streaming encoder, a web presenter, like anything, right? Run that out into something and grab the video from that other thing. That's how to do it, really. Don't know why the Video Ninja failed. Chris says Elgato Game Capture HD60S works directly on the iPad. Does it now? I was not aware iPads had any ability to do video capture. That is interesting. Opens up some interesting possibilities. Oh yeah, another good one is the Hollyland. If you run the multi-view out into the Hollyland, it's got HDMI pass-through, so you can look at it on a monitor, and then also load it up on the Hollyland app to view it wirelessly. Obviously locally, if you're doing that, not over the internet. With the new M1 iPad Pros having actual Thunderbolt, could you bring in an Ultrastudio monitor, for example? I don't know. That would be really interesting. I suspect not. I suspect it needs more support from the software in order to do that. I don't know if they expose it at that level. Certainly a possibility. It'd be interesting to see if that happens. I would not expect it to work right now, but maybe in the future. Chris is asking the other Chris, which is also my question. There is no iOS capture that isn't IP that I've seen. Yeah, that's my question too. The Hollyland app. Yeah, so the Hollyland transmitters have a companion app for them. And do I have it on this one? I do. I don't think I have my Hollyland connected, but if you look at the, if you pull up the iPad, there is a Hollyland app, and then you can connect it to the, you connect the iPad to the Hollyland transmitter's Wi-Fi hotspot. So it like broadcasts the Wi-Fi hotspot itself, and then you connect the iPad to that hotspot, and then you can pull up whatever the Hollyland transmitter is seeing. It's a very cool thing. Do you have a schedule for the start times and the kits I'm using for streaming? I sure do. They are all posted on my channel right now. So if you just go to my channel, they're all here. So that's the times should be showing up for you in your local time when you view it. These are the times in Pacific time. And the other place to find it is if you go to aaronpk.tv and scroll down here. Then the next one will always show up here. And there is a little iCal link. And if you copy that, you can subscribe to that in your iPhone calendar or your computer calendar or anything, Google Calendar even, and then it'll show you on a calendar view all of the schedules. And then the third place is if you keep scrolling all the way down, down at the bottom, go punch in your email address here, and then you'll get an email 30 minutes before each of the streams goes live. I'm gonna be sending out a lot of emails this week. I hope my I don't go over any quotas in my newsletter email system. But yeah, definitely go subscribe to that. And that's going to be the most reliable option for getting notifications, because that is sent out from my system 30 minutes before. And it will, as long as you don't have it, as long as doesn't go into spam, you'll get the email. Yep. Andre asks, when do you think the YoloLive guys will give the USB webcam out feature for the computer input? Very soon. Very, very soon. I know they're working on it. They wanted to get the audio mixer out first, and I'm glad they did, because I think the audio mixer is more useful than the USB output, but I know it's coming soon. Oh, thanks, Eric. I clicked that right at the wrong time. Let's see if we can get that back on the screen. Nope. Thanks for the super chat. Thanks for streaming week. We'll be tuning in as much as possible. Great. Yeah, definitely. I assume everybody won't be able to join for all of the streams because there's a lot of them, but hopefully you can watch the replays of the ones that are of devices that you're interested in. I will be attempting to add timestamps as much as I can to all of the streams as soon as we're done, so the replays will be available. Okay, a couple other questions here. Ooh, good one. Can a macro read a text file or spreadsheet? Is it possible to use variables inside macros? I assume this is about ATEM Mini macros. No, the macros are just a list of instructions. They're not. It's not a full programming language. It is. I know it looks like a bunch of code, but it's really just simple XML, which is just a list of instructions. And there's no way to do fancier stuff in it. But I am going to, what's the best way to learn advanced macro techniques? I've definitely done some walkthroughs of them in my streams before. So one option is to search my timestamps. And if you look through my list of timestamps, and if you search for macro, this will be any time that I've put the word macro in the chapter markers of my live streams. So like, it's only a couple, okay, but they go back pretty far. These are the times I've mentioned it in streams, and that's gonna be a good resource. The other good resource is Photo Joseph, has a video exclusively about macros. It's very good walkthrough. It's this one. So this video is a good step-by-step Photo Joseph macro video. It's a good step-by-step walkthrough of essentially the process of building macros. So I like the way he explained it here, and of explaining how to make the macros, and then how to tweak them, and that's another good resource. This is new. I don't remember seeing the transcript sidebar. That's cool. And then I have also done a couple of videos where I've gone through the steps of creating macros, but nothing in like as concise as Joseph's. Cool. Okay, we're almost up at the 2-hour mark, so I think we're gonna wrap this up soon. Raul says, what 3D printer do you have and recommend? I've been using the Prusa printers, so that is Prusa Mini is the first one that I got and did great. And oh, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Thanks for the good tips. Planning any trips soon. I just got back from Finland, and now things are looking not good again travel-wise, and had to cancel a trip that was going to go to Copenhagen and visit John Barker. That was going to be over New Year's, and that we had to cancel because things are just not looking good anywhere right now. So no, currently no travel plans scheduled, but hopefully we can do that again sometime soon. But thanks for the super chat. I definitely will. I'm hoping like at some point we can get back to like having being able to travel and like see people and hang out. And I want to, like, when I'm in some city next time, post about it and, you know, go organize a little meetup. We can all get together. So who knows when that will happen. Go Web Technologies. How much have you spent on your studio last year? I don't know, and I don't want to know. At some point, I will find out when I have to do my taxes, but that's not now. Okay, one of the last questions from Charles here. I want to use a feed of my PC output to the ATEM Mini without going into the monitor and record those outputs. Is it possible? If you're talking about, like, if you take a HDMI cable from your computer into the ATEM, your computer will see it like a monitor. It'll show up like a monitor. Yeah, totally possible. It'll show up in your multiview too, and then you can even like full screen it if you want to. Philip, thank you for the super chat. Here's a little something for coffee and or an adult beverage of your choice to help you get through your stream week marathon this week. It is going to be a marathon. It is going to be a lot. It should be fun. Thank you. Appreciate it. Now I've got some super chats saved up to treat Joseph to some coffee tomorrow when he visits. And yeah, I'm gonna need a lot of fuel this week to get through this large collection of devices to test. It'll be fun. Thanks. Yeah, Chris says the day will happen, just don't know when. I know. It was looking a little bit better for a little while there, and now not so much. Yeah, come visit sunny South Africa. I would love to. I've only been south of the equator like once, so yeah, that'd be fun. Never been to that continent before. Okay, so we're gonna wrap this up. Again, reminder for the schedule is on my YouTube, on my email newsletter, and on my calendar feed. Subscribe, join me live if you can, otherwise catch the replays. Oh, I totally forgot to mention, I have a giveaway for every one of the streams. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna do a giveaway for except tomorrow, but for the 4 where we're testing out devices. For the YoloBox stream, I'll be giving away one of my YoloBox stands. For the ATEM Mini day, we'll give away one of the ATEM Mini stands, and I can't remember actually what the other 2 are, but they will also be fun giveaways. I'm going to do them as very short giveaways, so you are going to not want to miss the streams. Oh, thank you, Darren. I appreciate the super chat for me and Joseph. Excellent. I'll let him know that we've been collecting coffee money today. Yeah, so the giveaways, I'm going to run them as like super condensed versions. So basically 24 hours or until the next stream. So we'll announce it at the beginning of the first stream and I'll tell you how to enter. It'll be very, very simple. Same idea as before, and it'll run until the next stream starts. Probably about 5 minutes into the stream, I'll announce the winner of the previous one, and then we'll do it again. And that'll give you a chance to watch the replay if you couldn't watch live and enter the giveaway during that, but they're not going to be open for a week this time. So definitely will want to keep on your toes for this week to make sure you can get some of the cool stuff that we've got. Okay. I think that's it. Oh, and Bart, thank you. Yep. I'll try to tune in sometime next week. Haven't seen Joseph in a while either. Yep. Cool. Well, tomorrow you don't want to miss because he's coming here in person into my studio. It'll be the first time I've had another person in here. I have to figure out how to light 2 people at the set, which I haven't had to do yet. So hopefully that works out. And mic 2 people in here. So yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be super cool. Chris says it'll be my birthday on Friday. Hopefully I will win something. I hope so too. It'll be my birthday next week, and I might be doing a special birthday live stream. We'll see how that goes after I finish stream week. So with that, we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you for all the super chats. Appreciate it a lot. It means a lot. It helps me keep this stuff going and keep this channel going, and sharing more and more things, tips and tricks, devices, reviews, ideas with you. So yeah, super fun. Oh, Philip, thank you for the reminder. Did you mention the 25K subscriber video entry today yet? I completely forgot. I need to mention that at the beginning of the stream. Philip reminded me that the I might have to bump the submission entries out another week. For my 25K subscriber video, which we just hit, I want to feature all of you in the video. So I have a link, which will be in the description after this video is done, to how to enter that. I want you to be in the videos. I want to know what you've learned from this channel over the last year or however long you've been watching. I'm going to compile these all together into a fun clip to share all of this great community. So I want to know what you do on your YouTube channels. I want to know what you do in your professional streaming gigs. Feel free to mention your company names and your channel names. It's all about promoting all of the audience here. So that link will be, again, in the description by the time you've watched this replay for instructions on how to enter that. So yeah, thanks all. Thanks for joining, and I will see you tomorrow.